The thing about these pants that I bought on eBay, because I'm sustainable, is like, well, what?
No, I wasn't shocked about the fact that you were sustainable. I was just shocked about hearing eBay.
I've been buying on eBay. I always am saying this. My number one hack for vintage shopping is to shop on eBay.
eBay.
And this is, I know it sounds like we're starting an ad. We're really not. This is just the truth. Yeah, because like the thing about eBay, like versus like say Depop is like on eBay, you're getting the dummies. You're getting the oldies. You're getting the people who aren't trying to turn like a $25 shirt into a $75 profit.
But I just kind of feel like sometimes, can I trust it? I think I
actually allow me to finish my story.
Please.
Because so I bought these pants, these Carhartt work pants,
Yes,
on eBay, and I was like, oh my god, they're actually really cheap. I'll buy them, sure. There's a hole right at the crotch.
and why do you think that is? It looks like almost someone like clawed at it.
Right.
I mean, listen, like regardless,
it's
like
kind of hot. I kind of vibe with
see you
it.
in
It's
them,
very
and I'm
Brooklyn.
like, he is a worker.
And you're actually wearing a Carhartt shirt right now.
It's kind of like, are we trying to go for something here?
What do you mean?
Money? Do you think we want Carhartt to like work with us?
Andrew,
What?
Carhartt's demographic of shopper,
Yeah.
should we do an ad for Carhartt, we would be the next Dylan Mulvaney.
Oh my, you're
Do you know what I mean?
right. Like the people that would be in the comments, like
Who
it would be so scary.
It would be so scary
It would
that it would be a
scary.
shame for everyone.
It would be a shame when they're like,
We can do ads for prep. We can't because they hate us too. The gays hate us too. We can do
that's
ads.
not true. The gays, because this is the new season.
You're right. We can
And-
do ads for Pure for Men.
Yes.
I would say
We can do ads for probably some sort of fast food, I can assume.
well, go ahead and say it. Say the T word.
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to see if anyone's listening or watching or doing anything. It's
Anyone?
like I've been eating a beefy 5-layer a week,
Is
like
there-
3 a week.
Yeah, I was gonna say a week.
3 a week. And sometimes that's all I need. It's a quick hit.
It's all you're getting is the beefy 5-layer.
Well, basically, because all I get is the beefy 5-layer, chips and cheese, sometimes a stacker, but that's not necessary, Cinnabon Delights, and a Baja Blast. But I feel like basically it is only the beefy 5-layer.
I understand that because it's like your main item is. Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat everything? I wasn't listening.
So, like, would you want me to include the stacker in that?
Well, yeah. No, cut the stacker
Yeah, okay.
for my own mental health for a second.
Yeah. So I just get a beefy 5-layer.
Yeah.
Chips and cheese, Cinnamon Delights. I usually ask for double, so it's 4 of them, and then I'll get the Baja Blast. And it's not my fault that Uber won. Sometimes it's like you need to add $5 more to save, and I'm adding $5 more to save.
But I think as long as you're only ordering one main specialty item, it is like you're only getting one thing because like chips and cheese don't count.
And like
Chips
I'm
and
going
cheese don't
from
count.
getting the deluxe cravings box to making my own cravings.
Yeah.
I would say delight.
Sure.
It feels light. Emphasis on light. Yerba mate. Gayaki.
Speaking of light, this tastes different.
I know it does, and I decided to go for the 20 cal. I decided to go for the low sugar. I'm sorry, it has the same amount of caffeine. I just thought we can get through it.
No, I get it. It's just like a whole different experience. It tastes like a no sugar drink, but
What are you gonna
I
do?
don't really need the sugar in my energy drink before this podcast.
When sugar is a drug, it makes you want more. But sometimes we gotta weed ourselves off of drugs.
Sugar is 9 times as addictive as cocaine.
Well, consider me the biggest cokehead you know. I've never done it, guys. I've never done it.
And you're lying.
What, Joe? I'm not putting that on record. Though.
You have! You have! It's like crazy!
I think I've done it once,
Yes.
but never again. Like sugar is my vice.
Good children.
Okay.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Good Children, the podcast where hosts Joe Hegyes
And Andrew Muscarella reflect on their 23 years of friendship, growing up in the late 2000s, early 2010s,
and all of the nostalgia
drama
and birthday parties that go along with it. We've done it before. We've talked about birthdays before, but this time it's going to be different.
Yes.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be spooky. It's
Yeah.
going to be messy. It's going to be iconic.
It takes you, I think, places where people aren't expecting. It takes you... We're going to take you there to the experience itself.
So, Andrew, you recently celebrated a birthday.
I did.
Like last week.
Can we just elaborate a little on it?
I think so. It's important context.
It is important context. So I did celebrate a birthday recently. I turned 21, for those that were asking. Well, I looked at a picture of myself recently. I'm not even going to lie. I actually thought I looked 55 years old.
The other day when someone asked you how old you were turning, I was almost going to answer for you and say 33. And then I was like, that's not true.
No, I'm 28 years old. But people have been asking me how old I am lately. And I'm like, oh, I'm 28. And they were like, whoa, that's like a lot older than I was expecting. And I'm like, maybe I read as a dumb little loser.
Yeah, you read as like a twink and a redhead.
I read as Grant and Ash. Yeah. I read as like 22 years old. But I'm not. I have a degree and we know it. But anyways, I had my birthday and we decided to do it at karaoke. But I thank God for Joe because I'm not a good planner. I'm a stressed planner. So he was able to curate the event itself. It seems like really well in advance.
Well, yes, kind of.
You were on it though at the beginning.
I was on it at the beginning and then I left the state for a month.
Yeah.
And kind of forgot to do some last minute steps such as like finding a venue.
Yes.
And that was a mistake.
We did tell people that it was going to be karaoke at 9, but the karaoke didn't start until 11. So that was definitely something that was like last minute call to action. But we like all on the way there. We all were
on the way to dinner. It was.
But on the way to dinner. Well, before dinner, Joe had a little night out the night before, and I think where you went wrong was while you were very hungover, like in those moments, I feel like you need to force food down your throat to then throw it out.
I refused to eat. I refused to eat all day. So I starved myself. Yeah. And I said, I'm just going to have water and ice at Andrew's birthday dinner.
Yeah.
And I was convincing myself that I'd be fine, but something came over me at the table that was similar to what I can only imagine. I feel like I felt very much like Fantine in Les Mis.
Yeah, and you looked exactly like her,
I looked
too.
just like her.
Yeah.
And I was clutching Andrew's jacket wrapped around my own jacket at the table, shaking, shivering, quaking.
And I would say it wasn't cold.
I was freezing cold.
There was almost a heater.
It was, well, there wasn't.
You didn't see that heater in that corner. It was a gorgeous
they must have turned that on after it was fucking cold in that room. Caroline had her jacket on as well. It was freezing cold in that space. Everyone's acting like New York City is in the dead of summer. It was freezing cold.
Okay. It was a moderate temperature where most people wouldn't sweat. But Joe had 2 jackets on now, is shivering back and forth, barely can speak, and is like, I'll just take the rice and beans. I'll just take the rice and beans. Actually, literally like your Les Mis.
Yes, yeah. There was a time when men were kind.
Shoot.
And then the rice and beans came, and I immediately said, I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna go home.
And in that moment, it wasn't even like I would never have been upset because 1, Joe already put in the effort to plan this event, and 2, it would have actually derailed the entire night if we would have had to be your caregiver.
Yes,
like
and it was feeling like that vibe. It was kind of like the attention was on me because I was like actually dying at the dinner table. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to give this vibe to this space.
It was kind of really giving Last Day on Earth vibes.
Yeah, but that's the thing about me. Whenever I fall under the weather, I do presume that I am about to die. Like
You're being crushed by the weather.
I got back and I was like, I'm probably gonna die tonight. Like I was like, it's about to happen.
You're like, at least Andrew singing Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna die tonight.
Well, by the time that you got to Pink Pony Club, I actually was healed because Ross came over. He brought me chicken soup from Chinese. I sat in the bathtub. Boiling hot, warmed up my bones.
Yep.
I had a full quart. And this is the first time in my life I've learned what a quart looks like versus a pint.
Quarts are big.
I had the full quart of chicken noodle soup. Slurping it, swallowing it, sucking it.
Are you the quart to my pint?
In many ways.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Okay. You were slurping soups?
I was slurping and sucking the soup. And then I was like, oh, I feel so much better. Like I still felt ill, but I was like just putting food in my system. I was like maybe I should have done this at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
But then I was overwhelmed with fatigue. So then I laid in my bed as Ross watched the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie at a volume one could only describe as indescribable.
And I know that description all too well.
Yeah. So I was just asleep, but also on a pirate ship for 3.5 hours. I woke back up. You were just about to hit the stage because Rachel texted me and she said the mics are broken, or the karaoke machine is broken.
And that was, it just kind of felt like I was getting hit after hit after hit. But I was on a euphoric high because I was surrounded by people that I was like, you know what? Even if karaoke doesn't work, like, this all is happening for a reason. Like, Joe's gonna pass away. Like, I'm not gonna be able to sing tonight. And like, it's basically the same exact thing. I'll be ready to go with him. But it was an amazing birthday, and I think that the thing about us is we know how to celebrate a birthday.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that there are indications and influences that have created really bizarre circumstances in which birthdays have been celebrated in our shared experience.
But the thing about the both of us is we curate completely different experiences for the birthday.
In the sense that you don't curate anything usually?
No, normally what I like is like, come as you are, let's just do
But have you ever
nothing.
hosted a birthday in your life?
No, besides when I was younger and my parents did that.
But I only went to one of your birthday parties ever as a child.
Yeah,
One
I think
time.
I probably had about 2 to 3 birthdays. My 15th birthday was at my house where I got a gorgeous, as we've discussed, cake from somebody who was on.
I don't think I was even at that birthday
Cake
party.
Boss Adjacent show. No, you weren't invited.
What?
No, I'm kidding. It was a family party.
Okay.
But I guess you were like your familia.
You definitely would have been invited to my family party for sure.
I know, that's so messed up. It's like there's so many things. Obviously, we're still working through them, and you understand. And then when it came to at post college, no, my birthdays were often overlooked because it was finals time, and that was sad. And I wasn't really surrounded by people like you at home. Yeah. And then it came to moving to Brooklyn, and it was on our roof.
Yeah, and that was the best day of our lives.
Best day of our lives.
As we all know, Andrew's 25th birthday.
My 30th birthday.
I know, we all know it's your golden birthday. At Carmine's.
It's going to be at Carmine's. Shut it down, red carpet. But Joe's birthdays?
Well, this is the difference between a Taurus and a Leo in many ways.
Yeah.
Because I think I've actually cooled down and scaled back in a big way. I can't even think about my birthday this year, which was just like at a bar. But I definitely set an expectation and a qualification for a birthday party.
Yes.
In every definition of that word. I think there are dress codes, there are codes of conduct, there are sometimes really tight schedules and really difficult circumstances that come along with that.
Tight is a good word as I think for all of it. I would say I've experienced tightness at your parties.
Well, you've experienced tightness a lot in your life. In the chest, in the pants, in the waistband. I didn't mean tightness as in like, I meant like as in like, no, like tightness in the chest, like a symptom of a heart attack.
Okay. I thought you meant tightness in my boobies.
No, I meant like a heart attack.
Okay.
I meant that you were like gonna have a heart attack, not that you had a big chest.
Okay.
But you do have a big, milky, fat pecs.
Yeah, no, like I have a big
in
fat.
a sexy way.
Thank you so much.
Of course,
but anyways, back to your birthday.
So there are 2 birthdays in particular. I mean, we all know that I used to celebrate Joechella. And I think it would be remiss not to acknowledge it, but I think it would also be remiss to go too deep into that lore because that episode definitely exists. Who's to say when it was? But as we know, I was hosting Joechella's from age 17 to probably 22.
Which I learned along the way, like, if this was to work out and who's to say.
Party planning?
Joe, you are an amazing event planner.
Yes.
Like, you really know how to curate an amazing space.
Yes.
And honestly, I would say an incredible vibe overall.
Well, yes, thank you.
With a layer of stress. I would say that if this was like a
only stressful if you
cake.
want to make it stressful. Like if you can't find like a perfect Y2K outfit in the year 2016, that's on you. For some of us, it was easy.
Yes.
And that's just the truth. And if you're putting pressure on yourself to show up in like an intense, dramatic way, that's on you.
I really think that what it boils down to at the end
Go
of the
ahead
day
and
for
say
me,
it.
at the end of the day for me, is like I struggle. Okay, I'm struggling.
Yes, that much is clear.
I on a daily basis wake up and I struggle, 24/7. And like when it comes to parties like this, costume events, I want to be the best. I'm sorry, I want to be the best, and I gotta get out of my head. Joe, it's debilitating because I'm like, it keeps me up at night. I'd be looking up things, best Y2K. What should I wear?
And
Y2K.
I feel like
for what?
When attending like a Joechella or a Hegyes hosted event, but also it's kind of like you're not gonna bleach your eyebrows and put on a blonde lace front wig. Like you know that I was gonna come and stunt on every single bitch there.
Never wanted to upstage you. That was never the case.
No, it wouldn't be possible,
and it wouldn't be possible.
And that's nothing but fact. And that's not an indictment on you in the slightest. It's actually an indictment on how much I would do for these events.
I think it also was keeping up. It's keeping up with the Joneses, and you were all of them.
Keeping up with the Joses.
Keeping up with the Joses.
Yeah. The Joses were really out of their minds.
It was next level.
And so speaking of out of our minds, so the Joechellas went on from, again, 17 to 22.
Yeah.
We had... Number one was just Joechella. It was a Coachella-themed Joechella graduation party. You were wearing, I feel like, an American flag bandana, a Vineyard Vines shirt, salmon shorts. So you didn't really try that hard that day to fit into the Coachella vibe. It didn't seem there was that much pressure.
Serious, I barely knew what Coachella was.
Well, it was a different time. It was like it was literally 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't think that people kids on Long Island were that aware of Coachella
and
yet.
At that time I was like, yeah, festivals, you're patriotic. You're supporting the country.
Well, that was like the Americana, which actually I've been thinking about this lately, and I guess this is the platform to discuss it. I think it's interesting that like we're seeing this like new wave of Americana fashion happen really blatantly, but like when you think of Americana fashion, you think of like early Coachella, you think of Lana, you think of American flag, like that picture of her where she's like looking gorgeous, like, and like whatever, like flower crowns and crocheted tops and like denim shorts. But I think the new wave of Americana fashion in culture is like the Ethel Cain, like conservative core.
Yeah.
Like it's all about camo.
Yes.
It's like the white tank tops with like patchwork tattoos. Like we're still doing Americana, but we've just dipped into like a different part of the country. Like it was very Midwest, and now it's very like down south.
Yeah.
Which is just interesting.
It is really interesting, and I think especially within the queer community.
Yes. Well, that's kind of where all trends will always start, is there. So like, yeah, like you walk around Bushwick, it looks like you're walking around Alabama. Like in every possible sense.
But it's like then they open up their mouths and they're like, hey, divas. Yeah, like, hey, girly.
1995 was next. This was in 2015. I went with you the day before to buy overalls at Macy's.
Yes.
Never forget.
I think I've said this before, but I kind of would bring back an overall. It just, the thing is,
bring back an overall.
They've been back. I know. I'm not saying bring them back like I'm gonna be the one that like is the pioneer here, but it's just, you're so comfortable in just appearance. It was hiding everything for me. And I thought
you need
that
to get
day,
back into therapy.
I can't say this on record, but I was texting someone today about it, and I'm getting back in it. I was texting a therapist themselves, actually. Yeah, I might be actually a part of like an intensive program.
I actually like can't do this anymore. Are you doing ketamine treatments?
Well, I have to pass the exam.
Well, you'll pass it with flying colors, I'm sure.
So yeah, it'll be a 16-week intensive program.
So yeah, you were overall.
And my Air Force Ones, which I wore Air Force Ones that day.
Okay.
So it was a good day for me.
Right, because what were you coming in them later?
That's so insane. No, Joe, I wasn't coming in them later. I was at least sitting on them.
Following year is Joechella 2000. I think it was Joechella, maybe 2005. Iconic. Again, it ushered in the renaissance of 2000s pop culture.
Yes.
We were not there yet as a culture, and I can't emphasize this enough, and that's why I did it. I knew it was coming. Anna Nicole Smith cupcakes.
Done. That's all you needed.
Anna Nicole, I had Anna Nicole Smith cupcakes at my 20th birthday party. I was straight. I had Nicole Richie, Anna Nicole Smith, Lindsay Lohan, Kim Kardashian, Jessica Simpson cupcakes. I was heterosexual.
I would like to go up to a few straight men at that time
And say, who's Anna Nicole Smith?
Yeah.
Who's Anna Nicole Smith?
I think the lines are blurred for me as well. Like, when did you come out to me?
Like last week.
No, actually, though. I'm shocked.
No, it was, I came out to you, it was summer going into, I was skinny.
Oh, it was that summer?
So yeah, I was going into senior year of college. But I was like, everyone else already knew.
Yeah, you told me that, and I think that at that moment I kind of was like, oh, that's really, like, that is really sad. It didn't hurt necessarily. I would say it, like, stung.
Well, it's like, I just found out that I wasn't invited to your 15th birthday party, so...
Well, I would say it's a little different, like...
Well, it's two halves of one, a whole of the other. It's kind of like...
But I've learned, I've went through therapy in my own head.
No, not yet. 16
not yet.
weeks intensive.
Yeah, I'm going to be taken away. You're going to have to do this podcast by yourself for 16 weeks and just tell people I made Big Brother. Yeah. I recognize that you coming out to me last is like me coming out to my family last.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Yeah. You were the closest to the core.
So don't even worry about it. But Anna Nicole Smith cupcakes, they were amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I want to wrap this shit up.
Yeah.
I think that was my final year of doing it. And then I planned to do that 70s Joe. It was going to be 1970s Joechella. Canceled. Replaced by Nochella, which was a surprise party for me for my 21st.
Yes.
Became Snowchella. Snowchella 1 and Snowchella 2. Nikki Blonsky, and thank God I brought her up. And we all know she did terrible things in that airport.
No, horrific, undescribable, like, shouldn't have been able to snap back things.
Well, Andrew,
she
did not snap back.
She
did not snap back. And my following anecdote will only continue to prove that. But cancel me. I paid $1,800 to Nikki Blonsky in the year 2017 and 2018.
Hi, angels. It's Nikki. Hey, guys. It's Nikki Blansky from the movie Hairspray. Hey, Joe, Sarah, Katie, Francesco, and Ashley. It's Nikki Blansky from the movie Hairspray. Hey, Rachel. It's Nikki Blansky from the movie Hairspray. How are you? Please have a great Pride. Congratulations on graduating from college. Hey, Rachel. It's Nikki Blansky from the movie Hairspray. I want to wish you a very happy Hanukkah. May the lights on your menorah shine brighter than your Emmy. Hey there, Rachel. It's Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray. I just wanted to tell you that you're a queen, and you are the Katya to your friends Trixie, the Abby to Alana, the Gypsy Rose to her DD. Ooh, look what you made me do.
That's a month's rent on cameos to Nikki Blonsky in 2017 and 2018.
I actually don't know how to process this information correctly.
I don't have health insurance now. You know what I mean?
Like,
how far the mighty could fall. I was paying Nikki Blonsky's rent, and she was the one who I found a video recently of her saying, like,
it's Nikki. This is your reminder that the divine intervention of Joe Hegyes is exactly 1 month away. Please let Joe know if you can make it, and don't forget, the theme is all white, and you must wear wings. Have fun.
It was kind of like you were like hosting your own form of SNL, and Nikki Blonsky was always
special
the guest. Because like you were pumping out Nikki Blonsky content more than Nikki Blonsky.
I was putting her on the map. I was single-handedly helping her bounce back in some ways.
I agree.
I can't even explain. When I discovered what Cameo was, I lost thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a different
time. It could have been
time.
anybody.
It could have been anybody. It could happen to anybody.
Yes.
It was like before Cameo. Now Cameo, like, a goat goes viral on Twitter, and the next week it has a Cameo account. At this point, it wasn't like that. Like, Cameo was this new frontier, and like not many people were on it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like the Nikki Blanskys of the world. So there was something really charming and entertaining about getting access to these strange characters from your life. And we all know you can't stop the beat.
You can't stop the beat. And I'll tell you one thing. She could stop looking like that either. What does that
well,
mean?
I want you to actually continue to say what you're saying, because that almost felt really crazy.
No, the way what I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead. Clarify
like,
the statement.
If I was gonna be, but I guess it'd show up as you are. I feel like sometimes she'd have like a hat on, and like the camera would be like at the craziest angle you've ever seen. And I'm like, I guess that's the difference between me and Nikki, is like she just shows up. And I feel like I would like have gotten everything ready if I was gonna like.
Well, that's the one difference between you and Nikki.
Yeah. Well, like if someone's paying for something, I
think
I would
agree
have put
with
in
that.
some
But that's
effort.
what you said. Did not indicate that that's what you were speaking about.
But that's what I meant.
And that's why I'm glad you clarified.
Of course, it's just like you clarifying about my big tits.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And that's this whole new season of the podcast, I think, is about clarifying.
Yeah. It's like not letting us move on without
a clarification. Yeah. But yeah, she would do most of these cameos from like a dimly lit dungeon basement with like a basement window, I feel like, the only light to illuminate her face, and she would always have a very severe cough. It was giving emphysema down.
It was, and what was always shocking,
$20 for that.
What was shocking about her singing "You Can't Stop the Beat," I feel like you've almost had a few videos where she's singing a Hairspray song.
Yeah, yes,
and
I got her to sing a lot of songs.
Similarly to when we had a conversation about Dunkin' Donuts and them making their drinks, it was
never
always
the same song twice.
Different, so unique, a beautiful interpretation, different notes thrown in there, different renditions.
Yes.
And that's how you know an artist from a musician.
You're, Andrew, yeah, 'cause she's kind of the Bob Dylan of our generation.
I completely agree.
Again, horrible things in the airport. Unforgivable.
Horrible. Bleep out her name the entire time.
But also, just to keep talking about her for one more second, I would like to once again bring up when I had her break up with my friends for me, that video, which I know that haunts you to this day.
Hey guys, it's Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray. Joe just wanted to kind of take a break. He's basically just saying sorry, but your life paths aren't similar, and you guys both need to move on, find healthier friendships and relationships, and he wishes you the best. So that's from Joe, just me saying it. Okay, bye guys.
I thought she would like get that it was like kind of a gag and funny, but she took it very seriously, and it ended with her being like, I'm just the messenger, I'm sorry. And I was like, oh, she's bearing the weight of these cameos in a way that I didn't anticipate at the time.
Because can you imagine being her, getting like a ping notification that you just got a new cameo, and it's like,
who's like, time to grab my hat and get into the basement.
Yeah, get into the basement. She's like, Mom, I'll be right up for dinner, give me a sec. And she goes downstairs and she's like, Joe doesn't want to be friends with you anymore. And then ends the video and it has to go on with her life.
No, like, in retrospect, it was a really demented time in my life, and I'm sure Nikki's life as well.
Yeah.
I was the puppet master pulling her strings.
You were.
At 21 years old. Like, it's so crazy.
No, again, like, you were the director.
This is why you should not give 21-year-olds full-time jobs with salaries and benefits, because that's what they'll spend their money on, and like, when they don't have to pay rent. Amazing time in my life. Anyway, speaking of spending money on things when you don't have to pay rent, I'm still working at BuzzFeed. So this is the same year that I'm funneling money into the Nikki Blonsky account. I catch wind someone cool at this point tells me about a club in Bushwick called House of Yes. House of Yes has been ran through now. I don't think that it has the same cultural cachet it did before it was in the Netflix original film Someone Great, starring Gina Rodriguez.
Amazing.
But I think that kind of ushered in the downfall of House of Yes. But at this point, House of Yes was like a cabaret circus event space in Bushwick, and Bushwick to me still seemed like a crazy place to go. It was such a wild experience, and I wanted to go to House of Yes for my 22nd birthday. The only issue is all of my friends were from Long Island, and we were not going to be able to like commute to Bushwick and then get on the Long Island Railroad and come home at like 3 a.m.
No.
And like that just wasn't a possibility. And when you're that age and you want to go out and you don't live in a major metropolitan city, it's complicated. It's not easy to get that shit done.
No. Because there's nothing worse than being drunk on the Long Island Railroad heading back home.
It's
nothing
so
worse.
Scary. It's
getting
terrifying.
being like, oh, Dad, are you gonna come pick me up? Like, that sucks. Like, it literally sucks.
It sucks. I did it so often.
It felt, there was a part of me that was like, I'm pathetic.
Yeah, well,
even though it's not.
There was a massive. Oh, you're right. It's not.
It's not.
It's not. We're pathetic.
We're pathetic.
For like, you exist in the context of all that came before you.
Yeah.
And for us, we're pathetic for doing that.
Yes. What would be the word? Like, would you say that we exist in a world of, is it like patheticness? I think I'm going to go with pathetiety.
Pathetiety.
That's gorgeous.
If we ever have to rebrand the podcast, like if we get sued by someone for the name Good Children, Pathetiety is actually an amazing name for a podcast.
And I also think it's a gorgeous baby name. Again, I don't know why we're pumping out names, but
you're going to name your daughter Pathetiety? It does sound like a Grecian goddess.
Yes. Pathetiety.
Pathetiety. And I'm going to name my daughter Persephone, I decided. Persephone. And Pathetiety. Pathetiety sounds like a crazy lisp. Like, Pathetiety.
Pathetiety. And she would have one.
So speaking of Pathetiety, instead of having to take that step to commute home on the Long Island Railroad, I invited Andrew, Rachel, Frank, Caroline. That was only the four of us.
Yeah.
So only four of my closest friends on a trip via Sprinter van from Long Island to House of Yes in Bushwick. I think that there was a point in my life where I got trigger happy with a Sprinter van, and I was booking them pretty frequently.
You got carried away with Sprinter vans in a way that it was like, I haven't seen that many Sprinter vans on the road, period.
No, it was like ushering Taylor Swift back and forth from the Eras Tour in some ways.
Correct.
So this night at House of Yes always has a very intense theme, and like, again, we're like 22 years old, we don't know anything. Like, I think that the theme is very surreally enforced. So the theme was like neon carnival or something. Andrew, you're wearing one of my shirts from ASOS. And ASOS down.
Listen, I will never forget, because this year I just came out as bisexual.
Right.
So I was like, this is my first queer experience that, like, I'm gonna get my ass ate tonight. Like,
you did not think that.
No one was going near me, but like, I like in my delusional head, I was like, at least a tit suck. You know what I mean? Like, something was. I wanted at least some attention.
I want to ask you, at 22 years old,
if
someone tried to suck on your tit at 22, would you enjoy that, or would you have a mental breakdown?
Well, I think it would deal with context. I think that I would probably have a mental breakdown 80% of the time, okay. But on that 20% that someone was like loving, like they just wanted to like be like really near my tits, like sure, have a great time. But I wouldn't want them to be like keep those like if they were like chasing my tit.
Yeah, I'd a tit chaser.
If they were a tit chaser.
Yeah.
Anyways, Joe gave me his shirt to wear that night, and I remember feeling skinny, toned.
Yeah.
And like my skinniest jeans ever.
I'm sorry. No disrespect to you. I don't think you've ever not been toned. Like, I think that somehow, like, despite all of the shapes that your body has taken and the forms and the people you've shown up as, you've always been toned.
I've always had an arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always did. And I think it was probably the 17 sports I played over the course of my life.
And the triple thick shakes.
The triple thick shakes, the protein nonstop. And like, I was always defying odds, and we still are to this day.
Yes.
But yeah, that day, that night was already set up on a great note because of what you put me in.
And I'm happy to do that for you. I remember wearing, and this was me also, I guess, feeling really good about my body. I was wearing like women's high-rise black baggy jeans above my belly button, like a Taylor Swift.
You gave me those eventually, I feel.
Really?
Yes, I remember.
And then I was wearing a mesh tank top crop, which is crazy.
So your tits were out too that night?
Yeah, they were fully out. And then on top of that, though, I bought on Amazon like do you remember the jacket? Like a security jacket, like a neon green high vis.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Raincoat.
Like you were gonna be directing traffic.
Yes, like that's exactly what it looked like with my platform Doc Martens.
You were gonna get a call from JFK and they said we need you on the tarmac.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like I was fully helping a Boeing 787 get into airport.
And in some ways you were.
And it wasn't. It was the Sprinter van.
Yeah.
Again, the theme was neon, and I, on the low, brought in about 5 tubes of neon face paint, just in case.
Just in case
we needed that. I don't remember much of what happened that evening inside House of Yes. But I know things got crazy really fast. I feel like this was one of the first times that you and I were like let loose together in a space.
Yeah, I do remember even prior to being at House of Yes, like
It was already crazy.
it was already crazy because, well, obviously thing about me is like I'm always throwing it back, but in a way that's like, whoa, okay, there's just 4 of us here. But I remember specifically my hands planted on your couch.
Yeah, of course.
My ass up. I'm shaking, thinking about the night ahead of us.
Right.
Like, and we were already sipping downstairs.
Yeah, we were pre-gaming.
We were pre-gaming, and then we were pre-gaming in the Sprinter van. Mm-hmm. And then we get there, and I'm like, at that time,
now that I think about it, we didn't take a Sprinter van there. We took the Long Island Railroad there. We were pre-gaming on, yes, because we took this. I remember taking the subway. We took the L. We went to Jamaica, and we took the J.
We took the J.
Right? We took the J from Jamaica.
We still, I feel
crazy,
like
really bold of us as Long Islanders.
Pre-gaming.
Yeah, we were drinking on the trains.
I was
we had
drunk
nips.
on the train.
Yeah, we were pre-gaming on the trains. I just remember, like, if I could think about that night in flashbacks, the paint haunts me. The paint haunts me.
Well, when you take it that far, it does make you wonder why. Why were there 5 tubes and why was it all over my chest?
No, Andrew. And the thing is, there was like a face painter there who was like giving people like very neat, very clean, like
yes,
neon face paint giblets across their face. We are blackout drunk in the center of the House of Yes dance floor, pumping face paint from a tube into our bare hands.
Correct.
And lathering it on ourselves like SPF.
When I look back at my pink ass face, it's shocking to see the block underneath my eyes that wasn't put on like it was supposed to be like sporty chic.
Right. No, it's literally like it was put on for surgical reasons.
Yes. Well, yes. I'm sure people thought that too when they saw me.
I remember you and I becoming friends with a girl from Thailand on the stage at one point.
And I think I connected with her because I had a few Thai friends at the time from Australia.
Right. I'm sure you connected with her.
Yeah, I did.
I'm sure. And then your shirt was almost off at one point.
Which for me at that time,
I know. I'm really happy
huge.
for you. That's major.
But again, when sometimes all it takes is a shirt that you're wearing to make you feel so confident in that night that buttons kept popping off.
Loosening up my buttons.
And there was the idea of this like pinkish orangey
like
paint.
Anyone would want to touch you.
Like literally slathered on my body, looking like I haven't showered in days. That was like, let's just let nip out.
It got to a point in the night where I noticed something was off. And then we realized that Andrew had gone missing.
Yeah, I did definitely leave the space. Right. I was in a place where I had one too many drinks, and when I have one too many drinks, I decide to take matters into my own hands, and it's my way or it's the highway. And I said, I'm leaving this bar, and they actually said to me, there's no re-entry. And I said, that's fine.
I'm like, that's crazy.
Like, all of my friends are inside. I've never been to
tell
Bushwick.
anyone.
I never told a single person where I was going. I left. I don't even think I had in my mind what was coming around next.
The corner.
I decided to leave. I needed to get out of the space. I don't think I was having a mental breakdown. I think I was just ready to go.
I think that was usually the case with the Sprinter van events, because we had like we had to wait until the van showed up to leave.
Exactly. So I was like, regardless, I knew that I had like 45 minutes left.
Yeah.
House of Yes is next to Artichoke Pizza. And I think at this time in my life, I also have seen Artichoke like
Devour
blowing
Power,
up, like Devour Power posting these slices. And I'm like, I need that slice. So my drunk ass walks into Artichoke Pizza. Now I start to get some text messages like, Andrew, like, is everything okay? Like, where have you gone? Like, what's up? Where are you? I'm looking at them. I'm not answering. I'm like, I need to do this for myself.
And suddenly now urgency is created, obviously, within House of Yes.
I get a call from Caroline. Caroline calls me. I said, I'm at Artichoke Pizza. She comes over to Artichoke. I've already ordered 2 crab slices. And if you know anything about the Artichoke crab slice, and I hope to God you do, and if you don't and you go to New York City, you just got to try it to know what that night panned out to be. It's some of the creamiest crab you could ever see on a slice of pizza. It's like my worst nightmare. I don't even like crab like that. I don't even like crab like that.
That's the most shocking part, is I would never once peg you for a crab eater.
Yeah, I don't like crabs. I don't like them. I don't like them, period.
And I remember, I think at this point, so Caroline had left, and then me, Rachel, and Frank were left, and I think the 3 of us were like, well, we should find them.
Yeah.
So we come outside, we get to Artichoke, and then you're like, I'm eating a crab slice.
I'm like, I'm eating the stupidest slice you've ever seen. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm having a great night. But again, at the end of the day, I do think that I won because I was able to get that slice.
There's a video that I think has gone down in history, and it's crazy we haven't shared it before, but I think it's because we were really fucked up, and it was like a time in our lives with this podcast where we weren't going to share videos of us being blackout drunk on it.
Really, really, really excited for it to surface.
I'm so happy for everyone. I'm really excited to share it. And also, like, we were 22. So, like, I mean, different times. But it's a video where, and this poor Rachel, and Rachel is such a sweet, pure soul.
The sweetest.
I am so drunk and so annoying and so 22 years old that I'm like flailing around. I smack Rachel's pizza out of her hand, and she picks it up and she goes, 5-second rule, don't worry about it.
Which that just shows you
how drunk everyone
what the
was.
Times were like.
Yes,
because
this is a pre-COVID world.
If something dropped on the floor, she wouldn't even look.
Yes, this is on the street in Bushwick.
Well,
and that's how the video begins. Rachel is eating pizza that fell on the fucking street.
She dropped the
Bushwick.
It was a 2-second. All right, is this Bushwick? Are we in Bushwick?
Before this happening, was I riding the bicycle holder like it was a bike itself?
Yes. Yeah, you were riding the bicycle holder, throwing ass, unbuttoned shirt, dipping low like it was a pole at one point.
Yeah.
Andrew appears like a phantom. like a phantom, like something indescribable. And you're speaking in the most guttural voice I've ever heard, and you're covered in pink face paint all over your cheeks, all over your chest, and you just say,
I told the guy fucking Brooklyn Heights is 20 minutes away.
For what?
From here.
And there's just this true chaos mode that we enter that, like, I watch that video to this day and I'm like, I think social media and technology has ruined so much of our lives, but thank God we have that on camera. And then there's another video that starts with you going, it's not red, it's pink.
It's not red, it's pink.
Also, like, me telling that guy that Brooklyn Heights was 20 minutes away, like walking distance, which it's actually
so
could
incorrect.
Not have been any farther
it's
from
not
that.
even 20 minutes away by car or by train.
No. But it just felt like in that moment I came into my own as a New Yorker, and I was like,
imagine.
It's confidence, you
Can
guys.
you imagine? Imagine the person who looked at
walking up to me.
Walking up to you. You are bright pink. You're covered in pink
and
paint.
I'm normally pink anyway.
But you're fluorescent pink.
Yes.
And literally blacked out of your mind, crab slice in hand, and that person said, let me ask this person for directions to Brooklyn Heights.
I think I give a comforting presence.
Well, you do. That's part of your whole...
He was drawn to me.
He was drawn to you.
And I didn't skip a beat.
No, of course not. How could you? You knew. 20 minutes away.
And then we get into that damn Sprinter van.
Guys, my eyes are for sure closing.
Let them close.
I'm closing. My eyes are closing. Why is your chest? Why is your chest?
Get that out of his face and let him sleep.
Hey, your chest neon pink.
Why is this green?
Thanks, man.
Like, no other Housewives franchise will ever be able to surpass New York Housewives. Like, it will clearly always be the best one.
It is like really nice that we had the opportunity to be in that van.
I know, it is the best feeling in the entire world. I think that everyone should get into renting Sprinter vans because, I mean, if you can spare the several $100s that it takes,
and
it is...
For you to get like those like little water bottles that they'll have for you, that's sweet. That's all you need.
I love the elegance of getting into a Sprinter van.
Because there's something different about the leather in it. Mm-hmm. It just feels...
And like the stadium seating.
The stadium seating. And the driver that's kind of also confused why we're in a Sprinter van.
And
like,
I feel
we're all
so
confused.
bad. I always think about that driver. I'm like, his car had to be covered in paint. I never got a cleaning fee.
I feel like the thing about you, though...
I always feel bad.
You always feel bad.
Yeah.
But like, you always feel bad, especially in the context of ordering like a limo or a car service or something. Like, you're always like, I'm so sorry that we made you do this. Like, I'm gonna tip you so well. So like, literally don't worry. Obviously, but it's like that is they are showing up to work. You know what I mean?
I know,
and you
but
are
I feel
such a
so
nice
bad.
person.
Even yesterday, I Ubered back to Long Island yesterday.
Were you more?
I got in the Uber and I said, I am so sorry that you have such a long drive ahead of you. He said, that's fine. I said, I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
It's like, instead of thinking of yourself as an inconvenience, like, you gotta start like embracing it. You're like, yeah, we're going to Long Island. It's gonna be a good ride.
Well, when you've been an inconvenience your whole life, it does feel sometimes like, I mean, well, listen.
Yeah.
And I know it's crazy that the episode's not wrapping up. And I know it's crazy that we're just getting to a second half. So let's run the ad for a second so we can breathe.
What ad was I talking about? We don't have an ad this episode. I'm sorry. That's weird.
And we're back.
I think that before we played that ad, you were talking a little bit more about being an inconvenience. And what were you going to say about that?
Yeah. I was saying that I think I've always been one. And for example, the following year.
Yeah.
I don't know how or why.
This is the one year, though, I'll also say that it was the first time that it put it into perspective for me who you were as a person.
You're kidding.
No, not in a way that I was like...
I just got full body chills.
Yeah, it was kind of like, whoa, we're doing this.
Wow.
The divine intervention.
Well, no.
It wasn't this?
No, that was Joechella.
Oh my God.
This was Midsummer. It was the following year. For some reason, I wanted to go back to House of Yes. The theme for House of Yes this night was like white. It was like wear white. Not Caucasian, although it's House of Yes.
You're telling
so the theme
me
could have been Caucasian.
The theme was wear white? You're telling me the theme was wear white? I'm actually in this.
Yeah, what did you think it was?
I thought it was like midsummer themed.
No, I took the theme and I made it my own. And I had us all dress as Midsummer.
I'm in disbelief.
And that's called Dunkin' Donuts. That's called Nikki Blonsky. It's creative interpretation.
I completely agree. But
and I gave everyone a quick assignment. That was an easy one. I said, wear linens. Wear white. I provided the flower crowns.
You did.
I do believe. This was a different year, though, because everything was a bit more stressful because I had a boyfriend. And this was my first boyfriend. And my family did not know that I had a boyfriend.
I don't think any of us have met him yet.
Rachel probably had, but that was it. Yeah, so all of my friends were meeting my boyfriend, and all of my friends were pre-gaming at my parents' house in the basement. And obviously my mom was like chatting with everyone, and everyone had to be in agreement, in alignment, that we were lying and saying I was going to my friend's Kate. We were all going to my friend Katie's roof to pregame before we went to House of Yes.
It's so sick. It's so sick.
It's so sick, and I was like, out.
You're always. You're not always, but like I still feel it. I don't do it now anymore, but like as that gay boy, like you're
The compulsion to
lying.
lie.
You're
Yeah.
lying. You're saying I'm
Lying
going to
down.
Katie's roof, and then like if there was ever an off chance, like the time that you were,
We told that story, right?
when you were fucking, and then I was caught in the lie, and
You said never heard Melissa Taylor before in my entire life.
And a
Because the
lie.
whole summer I was starting to date this person, and I would tell my mom I was like hanging out with Katie, and then I would like go to I was staying over Katie's apartment. Giovanna, if your son ever tells you that he's staying over his girly pie's apartment, just say we all know you're lying. That's my tip for Giovanna this week.
yeah. That's a really smart. When we give Giovanna a tip per week.
Do you remember that when we were at $3 Bill this weekend, we met someone who was a listener of the pod, and they said my friend Giovanna loves you guys, and I said, is she a mother?
And he was like,
no, and I was like, okay.
There's more than one Giovanna.
I was
that listens
just so
to this
gagged.
podcast.
I was like, if your friend is the Giovanna, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. We're all going to Peter's roof, and Peter had a rocky relationship with his roommate, and he was very kind to host the pregame. It was going to be on his roof, but he said to me, like, if my roommate's home, like, it's going to be a problem if people are coming in and out of the apartment to pee and like use the bathroom. So if we could just avoid that, let's avoid it. So like, I'm again like so new to dating, so new to this shit, like don't even understand what it's like to have an apartment. So I like say to everyone on the train there, like, by the way, you can't pee at Peter's.
And can you imagine telling this to a group of people that, one, are dressed like it's midsummer, and two, that they have just started pre-gaming, sipping liquids, and like probably gonna have to bust at any moment.
Yeah.
And we're about to be on a roof at somebody's apartment. We don't know who we also need to impress, and like have a strong parameter around not pissing at their bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really set up so beautifully. I really appreciated that. There were balloons. Everyone was in their theme. There was music. There were snacks. There was no access to the bathroom. And at some point, I believe it was getting to a pissing point. It was pissing tipping point.
Yeah. It was getting to I'm going to
PTP.
pop. Yeah. And the worst part of this all was that we were on the roof, but there was like a skylight that looked into the apartment, and it directly looked at the bathroom door that was open. And it's like we're all standing around this skylight looking at this open bathroom door saying, we could literally be in there and out of there in 2 seconds. But I understood where you were coming from, because I also was like, I can't do this.
Right. Thankfully, at some point, everyone was led down in a single file line to pee. And this is just, again, like, I'm just reflecting on the whole scenario and the situations that I put myself and my loved ones in.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a byproduct of, like, not living on my own, like, not having an apartment. Like, this all could have been so easy if I just, like, had any autonomy at all in my life. And that's why I'm like, everyone dressed up as midsummer for my birthday, because like I was in control of nothing, especially at that job that I was working at this point, because it was my final job.
Yes.
Like, I had no control in my life, and I feel like this is where I was like seeking to find control. Anyway, we go to House of Yes. Peter and his friends leave within 20 minutes upon arrival. They're gone.
Which, it was definitely interesting to see, because I was Nikki in my head. Oh my God, we just met Peter. This is Peter's boyfriend. This is Joe's boyfriend. He just left your birthday to go somewhere else. I was thinking to myself,
it's kind of crazy in retrospect. It also goes to show me how much I'm willing to like put up with and ignore and push past.
Oh my God, absolutely. I was like, no.
Like, if Ross did that to me, it would be a small Waco.
Well, yeah, Joe, of course, if this was my first my first boyfriend and my first birthday with my boyfriend, and he decided to legitimately leave this space within 20 minutes of being there and wasn't sucking my dick by the end of the night, hand in hand, walking home. That was a crazy part of the night, because I think that we all were like,
I know, I didn't care at all.
Yeah.
And I imagine that everyone else, that was probably the elephant in the room, was like, oh, Peter left.
Yeah.
And Joe's not batting an eye.
Joe's not processing.
Joe doesn't care at all that Peter left. The next thing I remember this time is your near-death experience.
And I think we've discussed this before, but it just puts it into context of what the night was like. And I have never done poppers at this point. Like, I didn't even know what poppers were. I didn't even know, like, it was something that gay people were doing. Again, I wasn't actually gay yet.
You were living in Boston.
I was living in Boston. I was still bi. Like, I have not come out as gay. I don't think I said I'm gay to somebody yet.
You had to, Andrew. This was summer 2019.
Oh, yeah. No, I probably did say I was gay, like, earlier on that year.
Yeah.
So I probably did say. But
you were, like, already, like, you were sucking dick with your ass.
I was sucking
dick that summer, right?
But, Joe, I was sucking my dick with my ass, but I was bisexual.
Right.
I'm bisexual. Men do that, too.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You're 100% right about that.
You know what I mean? I still had, like, girls on my hinge.
Did you notice that I got rid of my unibrow?
Yeah, it does. You look amazing. Your skin is glowing, like, but like regardless, like unibrow or not, like stunning.
No, I agree. I just wanted to point it out.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
hurts.
It's like, oh, you know, I can barely see.
You're a blur to me. I wouldn't be able to tell you what brand anything you're wearing.
It's like so sad because it's like you refuse to wear your glasses.
Yeah.
And like you gotta get contacts.
Yeah.
It's really not good, Joe.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that night I was ready to pop in a bunch of different ways. So Joe was like,
you were ready to end it all.
Yeah, because I think because it's summer 2019, like I'm not out to my parents yet. Like I still am like living in shame.
Yeah.
And
well, have you ever stopped? Or you're not living in shame right now? Whoa. Okay, back to poppers.
So Joe turns to me and he's like, I think that you explained to me what they were.
Poppers were not like Sour Patch Kids at this point. Like now every teenager, gay, straight, bisexual, whatever, knows what poppers are. Like this is a time when it was still for the gays and like you didn't discover it on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I started doing poppers that summer. I was obsessed with them. And I remember, I took them out at House of Yes, and I was like, Andrew, do you want to do poppers?
And it was like, I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh my God, my best friend is a drug addict. I am drunk at House of Yes, and my best friend is a drug addict, and I don't know how to go on from here. And it's like, this is what
you just gave in,
because this is what you learn in health class. It's like, say no to peer pressure, and there was no peer pressure. I was dealing with my own demons at that time, so I was like, if Joe does it and he's still standing straight, great. And I remember asking parameters around it, being like, what does it do to my body? You're like, it lasts 1 minute, and it's like a full body, like you just feel like relaxed.
And I feel like everyone we were with was doing it.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, everyone's doing it. It's just like a 1 minute relaxation, and it's not necessarily a drug.
And you're at a club, it's loud, there's music loud, so it's hard to say a lot of words. And I feel like you were like, how do you do it? And I like did the motion of like snipping poppers with my hand. And then I hand the bottle to Andrew. Obviously the poppers are hitting for me, so I'm getting my life.
I take that bottle.
I turn back around.
Joe turns back around. The whole bottle is up my nose, like in a way that like
hands free. Hands free is what's crazy. It's just sitting in there,
sitting in my nose.
No
like,
hands.
Like insane. First of all, like from a germ perspective, like I decided to shove that full bottle of poppers up my nose. From a
biological element, how did your nose cup it that well?
Because
your nostril gripped it.
Yeah, my nostril can do crazy things like the suck. Like it's just like it's small enough that like it could really hold something that large.
Right.
But anyways, it's fully up my nose. I'm almost ready to throw my head back at this point.
It's actually so scary. It's actually, and this was like the most sobering moment of my entire night because poppers are still new to me. I'm still afraid of them also. So I take one look at Andrew about to kill himself by pouring chemicals into his brain. I just remember gripping the Rush bottle
and
ripping it from your nostril, taking the cap and being like, you almost just died.
And listen, that rush, I felt it. I felt really good. I felt alive. I felt relaxed, and I felt like probably my hole was the loosest it's ever been.
I can't imagine, but your nostril tight as ever.
Tight as ever.
And then one thing leads to another. Our Sprinter van was there.
And it was time to get back into that van, and it, again...
I'm sure you hit up Choki, right? Hegyes?
Oh, yeah, of course. At that point, it was
I think
tradition.
we were eating it in the car this time, which
yes.
was actually really nice.
And it's really crazy. Like, I mean, like, again, we went to sleep in the Sprinter van on the way back. Anything can lull me to sleep. Like, I can sleep in any specific, like, and in any instance. Obviously, when there's alcohol in my system, like, I'm going to bed. I feel like you're staying up to, like, make sure that, you know, we're all good. I think in that moment, though, that night, I remember being really drunk that I was like, this isn't going to be good for me.
It's the worst feeling.
When you're like, I'm past the point. I think that the learning lesson too is like, if you know that night's coming, you gotta eat. You gotta eat for a family of 4. Yeah, it really is like, it's wild to recognize that we went to House of Yes 2 times. I don't think I've ever been back. I walk by it sometimes and I'm like,
the things that happened there.
The things that happen there, and I see people walking in there and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Get ready. Don't shove that popper bottle up your nose. And also, all I remember from those 2 times is like, was someone coming around with a clipboard asking if we wanted to go in the hot tub upstairs?
See, I don't remember any of that.
See, I remember somebody coming up to me both times saying, there's a hot tub upstairs. Would you like to go upstairs? All I thought people were doing there was like sucking and fucking and jerking in the
Because
tub.
also what's so sad is like I genuinely saw House of Yes as like a queer space.
Yeah, same.
And like in retrospect, it just isn't. No shade to House of Yes, but like I was like, this is a gay club.
What it is like
Bushwick.
It's Bushwick. It's a club of everybody. It's not just queer. I thought also when we were going there, it's like, oh my god, this is gay. It's like not $3 bill. It's like you have the straights, you have the gays, you have like people who are coming from out of town.
Yeah,
you have like
mainly
tourists.
that. I feel like
I think now it's mostly tourists.
Gina Rodriguez's fault.
But listen, they're swinging from the ceilings.
Yeah, I'll never forget the valuable lessons learned and the memories.
And
made.
sometimes House of Yes,
House
more
of
like
no.
House of No.
Yeah, House of not today.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe and Andrew. My name is Rachel. I'm from Rhode Island, and I am a new listener. Well, relatively new, but I've listened to like 50% of all of your content, and it's actually sort of concerning how much your podcast has taken over my life. But I have a question for both of you. I know you guys have both been in relationships with women in the past, and it seems like you guys talk about them fondly, and it seems like you're on good terms with them. Like, I was just curious, like, are you guys still friends? Like, what is your relationship with Jesse and Sarah? And I'm sure there were others, but I just remember those 2 most notably. So yeah, like, what's the tea with that? How did you guys bounce back, and what's your relationship with them like now? Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, so, I mean, it ended... The way that I ended the relationship, we talked about this, was when I was in Australia, and, like, Jesse probably should have never talked to me again.
I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't either.
But who couldn't?
But who couldn't? And I think that, like, the reason that me and Jesse, like, stayed friendly and friends is because, like, she recognized that I was struggling, and that when I came out, she was like literally the first person to like hug me and like be like, oh my, she was sobbing, right? She like felt for me, because she also like, when you date somebody, you eventually start to love them, right?
Yeah,
obviously, that's how relationships work.
Yes.
So
correct.
From there, we stayed friends because we were like both orientation leaders, and like, you know, stuck with that. I then got invited to her wedding, and I'll say me and her mom we kikied and we had a great time, and her dad, I wouldn't say wanted to do the same. But Jesse, we're still friends. We'll text here and there, we'll catch up with each other. And And you know what? I'll see her if she wants to see me.
Whoa.
I still have her location.
That felt crazy at the end.
Recently I saw that she was like not even 2 miles away, and I was like, oh, it's over.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, what about you?
Jesse, I think we're on better terms than Andrew just described you and him being. Obviously, as we know, I dated Sarah, Miss Suckin herself. I think me and Sarah's friendship only got stronger post-dating, like post our relationship. I feel like we really became at our peak friendship in college, which was really sweet. And then Sarah moved to Texas. I moved to Brooklyn. It was harder, obviously, to kiki and catch up, but she's back in town, and actually, she'll be on Patreon this week. But was that not like our first date?
Probably. You were there.
That's what I'm trying to
We saw the Hunger Games, which I knew nothing about. Yeah. Do you remember what happened that night for us? It was a big night at first. Yep.
Oh, we held hands.
We held hands for the picture, and that was the first time we ever held hands.
We held hands because we were pretending to be Katniss and Peeta. That's how we started holding hands.
Feel sparks.
Yeah. She's going to be coming to this studio in an hour, which is crazy. I can't wait to
suck with Sarah.
It's going to be the most sucky day of our lives.
It's crazy.
And I think that you should atone for your sins with sucking.
Joe, don't even worry about it. Like, we're going to have a full, like...
I think a lot of sins will be atoned for.
I completely agree.
I do think.
I'm repenting today.
It's going to be, this is the first time that you've seen Sarah since before COVID.
Yeah.
I've seen Sarah obviously a few times since then.
Yeah. I mean, I can't speak from the perspective of a girl who dated a gay man who then came out and like is no longer close with them, but it is really nice that we both have ex-girlfriends that were very supportive and also like still wanted to be in a part of like in our lives in some regard.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like you have that history with them.
It is very sweet. Yeah.
And it's not against you, obviously. It's like everything that we were dealing with.
Right.
So.
And it is, I mean, there is something to be said. Like, we did see something in those queens, you know? Safety, kindness, warmth, and love.
Jesse, you wanted to share a twin bed with me when you know I was soaking
This is why Jesse didn't tell you that she was in Brooklyn.
I was soaking wet.
Stop. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Good Children. Don't forget to do your homework.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, review. Those reviews are going up. And
did you see the one I posted today?
I saw.
Did you see?
But this is the thing. I'm happy that people are reviewing us on Apple Pod because it's important for us to see some of like the words that you need to say for us to keep going. But Spotify too, it's like that one's the easiest one. You know what I mean? Really easy. That's one like you're in the bath. You know what I mean? Like you're
in the bath. I would almost rather someone write an Apple Podcast review.
I guess
that's like
you're on the road. I'll say you're on the road.
You're on the road.
You're on the road. And you turn to your passenger and you say, "You know what? We're listening right now."
Can you actually open up?
Everyone in the car, open up your phones. Yeah. So like that's how we keep getting those reviews, but. It's looking really good, and I hate to be a victim of comparison, but I like to compare sometimes to other podcasts that I'll listen to or see, and we're really up there.
Are we?
It's kind of shocking. Defying odds.
Who said that? Was that a reference to something that we said earlier?
No, but Joe, I told you this as well. I told Joe this as well, but I just think it's crazy to say, and if you were the person that was watching it, someone came to the studio that I worked at, and told me that they were in the countryside of Norway and they were on the bus in Norway and the people next to them were watching Good Children. I think that's insane. So if you're that Norwegian listener, write a review. And you know what? Write it in Norwegian. And I'll Yog.
Whoa.
Well.
Did everyone know that Andrew took what
Swedish
classes? Let's move on, but let's just put a pin in that one. So right now it's ukulele club and Swedish classes that we're going to return to one day soon about you.
And once that episode is over, I think what I'll have to do from there is probably delete my social media footprint.
Why?
I just feel like it doesn't bode well for my career that I was in ukulele club and take Swedish.
You can find us across all platforms at Good Children Pod. I'm on Instagram at Joe Hegyes and on TikTok at Be Quiet Joe.
I'm on Instagram at Andrew Muscarella, on TikTok at Andrew_Musky. And with that being said,
don't forget to subscribe to our
Patreon.
$7 a month, one exclusive video audio episode every single Friday.
And they're getting fun, and we're sucking this week, so...
Well, Andrew.
I know, but like sometimes people hear that and they're like, whoa.
Yeah, but don't bait and switch. If you're going to bait and switch, you might as well just be baiting.
Yeah.
If you're talking sucking, I hope I'm baiting.
I wish I was baiting.
You wish you were baiting right now?
Can you imagine?
No, I really couldn't. We'll see you next week for a brand new episode.
Mwah.
My name is...
No.
My number is...
No.
My sign is...
No. You need to let it go. You need to let it go. Need to let it go.
Out to the I to the no, no, no. All my ladies, listen up. If your man ain't shape...
You guys, I'm the conductor of them train.
And it's derailing.